I'm going to cover the roll to move. We've already talked about the slip to move. I'm just going to tell you what the difference is between the two. Remember, if you slipped to the right side, you normally move to the right. This is just a slip. But actually, when you slip there, you might decide that I can't get out there because there might be the ropes in the way, or my opponent might be more open on my left side. So I want to change that slip into a roll to move round to the left. So this is what the roll to move is. You're rolling down as you're stepping round, you're stepping around and moving around to the left. So you slip first, slip right, roll down to the left. Now, you can either step and roll and move, and that takes some practice. So what I would suggest that when you start to do the roll to move, you roll first, then you step, and then you start to integrate the step and roll at the same time. So a lot of coordination with boxing, and it's good just to break it down into smaller bits and then just advance it up so you can just practice rather than looking at the whole thing straight off, like the roll, step to move. Thinking about the roll first, which we practiced, and then you can move and move round to the left. So we'll do that slowly. You're rolling down and round to the left, then you practice that, and then you step in and then pivoting. Or you're slipping, you're rolling down to the left, you're moving around because you want to get a little bit further around your opponent. Remember, you're reacting on what your opponent's doing all the time. So you might want to move around a little bit more because they might have shifted a bit. So you want to sort of accommodate that because you want to get them where their openings are. So the difference between the slip and move, you'd move straight there, but you turn this into the roll because you want to change the direction of the movement when you break the line. It's the same when you're going on the other side. You slip to the left. Now I'm going to roll down to the right and then move around to the right because that's where my opponent is open. Or again, I want to move that way when I'm in the boxing ring fighting. So we've gone there, you slip down to the left. Now again on this, you can either step and roll at the same time, or let's go backwards a few steps and you just roll and then step and then come up. It's like a sprinter. When they first start off sprinting, they start low and then come up. So the roll, it's then you start low, and then when you get around in that position, then you come up because your eyes are on your opponent the whole time. You want to be able to watch for your target. So as I'm rolling down, I'm looking to see, are they opening on a body shot? Are they open for a head shot? Are they open for a hook, a cross? You're constantly looking and to see where they are open because then you capitalize on that opening with your counter punches. And in fact, if you see that there's nothing there when you get around and they're throwing big punches and you need to move, you've got the ability to do that because your balance is through the middle the whole time. Remember, you're reacting constantly to what's happening in front of you. And that's the beauty of boxing. That's why I love it so much, because it's never the same. I'm going to run through them both again. So I've slipped down to my right, I'm rolling down to my left, and I'm stepping and moving around. So I'm turning the roll into a movement. Slip down to the left, rolling round to the right. I'm moving around to the right. So look at all the options. You've got your slip to move and you've got your roll to move. So you might slip, move, or you turn it into a roll and move the other way. How confusing is that for your opponent if you're constantly switching up the way you're breaking the line? You're using slips, you're using rolls, you're using just your foot movement on its own, you're setting them up for better counter punches, you're getting out of attack if you're under attack against the ropes. This footwork and these movements is breaking the line using the slips and rolls is important to practice over and over and over and over again. And you'll still need to practice it over and over again when you think you've got it right, because you can never be perfect. You always need to expand on your knowledge, and you're always learning and practicing for new scenarios. Remember, that opponent in front of you may never ever be the same person. If you're just sparring, you can spar a variety of people or fighting a variety of people with different styles, different movement patterns, and some people are harder to read, and that's why it's important to keep your eyes up the whole time on anything in boxing.